In the world of barbershops, an unwritten law dictates that some things simply never change. The scent of bay rum, the drone of casual chatter, and the quiet despair of waiting customers, all constants. This morning, my routine shave began like any other. As I approached the door from Via Roma, another fellow materialized from a side alley, Via del Corso. It's an unspoken rule. Someone always arrives just before you. I quickened my pace, but to no avail. He slipped in a mere step ahead, claiming the sole vacant chair, the one under the shears of the most sought-after barber, known for his masterful fades and gentle touch. It's a cosmic joke, always unfolding this way. Resigned, I settled into a worn velvet chair, eyeing the remaining two barbers. One, already deep into a trim, seemed to be gaining on his colleague, who was still meticulously oiling a customer's hair. My hopes, a fragile flame, flickered with the probabilities. As the first barber paused to make change, losing precious ground, my interest intensified to genuine solicitude. When he caught up again, both barbers now whisking away towels and brushing powder from their clients' necks, it became a breathless race to see who would call next first. But in that crucial moment, my preferred barber paused to comb a client's eyebrows. A fatal error. He lost by a hair's breadth. Indignant, I rose and exited the shop, unable to face the prospect of falling into the hands of the second-tier barber. I lacked the fortitude to calmly tell a waiting barber, "I'll wait for your colleague." I walked for 15 minutes, then returned, clinging to a sliver of hope. Predictably, every chair was occupied, and 4 men sat waiting, a silent tableau of boredom, just as they always do. I slumped into a creaky, iron-armed sofa, passing the time by dissecting framed advertisements for dubious hair tonics. I meticulously read the faded names on the private aftershave bottles, noted the numbers on the personal shaving mugs in their cubby holes, and studied the smudged, generic prints on the walls. Old battle scenes, somber historical figures, and the ever-present cloying image of a young girl trying on her grandfather's spectacles. My heart silently cursed the relentlessly cheerful canary and the squawking parrot, fixtures in most barbershops. Finally, I salvaged the least tattered of last year's magazines from the grimy center table, poring over their embellished accounts of long-forgotten events. At last, my moment arrived. "Next!" a voice called, and I surrendered, of course, to the second-tier barber. It's an immutable law. I meekly mentioned I was in a hurry, a plea that registered with him as profoundly as if he'd never heard it. He brusquely tilted my head back, tucking a napkin under my chin. His fingers, like claws, dug into my collar, securing a towel. He then pawed through my hair, declaring it needed trimming. I demurred. He persisted, stating it was quite long for the present style and needed a little taken off, especially behind. I retorted that I'd had it cut just last week. He paused reflectively, then, with a disparaging tone, asked who had cut it. "You did," I shot back instantly, a small victory. He then began to whip up his lather, pausing frequently to admire himself in the mirror, critically examining his chin or a minor blemish. He meticulously lathered one side of my face, about to begin the other, when a dogfight erupted outside. His attention immediately diverted, he raced to the window, remaining transfixed until its conclusion, losing a few euros in bets with the other barbers, a development that brought me immense satisfaction. He finished lathering, then began to work the suds into my face with his hand. Now, He started sharpening his razor on an old leather strop, a process significantly delayed by a heated debate about a cheap costume party he'd attended the night before, draped in red fabric and faux fur, as some kind of king. He basked in the teasing about a certain woman he had enchanted, feigning annoyance to prolong the conversation. This led to more self-admiration in the mirror. He put down his razor, meticulously brushed his hair, plastering an inverted arch onto his forehead, meticulously creating a precise part at the back, and sweeping the sides forward over his ears with painstaking exactness. Meanwhile, the lather on my face began to dry, seemingly consuming my very essence. Finally, he began to shave, digging his fingers into my face to stretch the skin, tilting and contorting my head as convenience dictated. As long as he worked on the tougher areas, I bore it. But when he reached my chin, raking and tugging, tears welled up. He even used my nose as a handle to navigate the corners of my upper lip, a detail that, by sheer circumstantial evidence, made me realize part of his duties included cleaning the shop's oil lamps. I'd idly wondered about that. Around this time, I amused myself by trying to predict where he'd cut me next. But he preempted me, slicing the end of my chin before I'd even finalized my guess. He then sharpened his razor, something he might have done earlier. I dislike a close shave and resisted a second pass. I tried to get him to put his razor away, dreading an encounter with my sensitive chin spot, a place no razor can touch twice without consequence. But he insisted on smoothing one little roughness, and in the same breath, he glided the razor over the forbidden territory. The dreaded redness and irritation of a close shave immediately erupted, smarting in response. He then saturated a towel in aftershave and slapped it across my face with unnecessary force, as if any sane person washes their face that way. He then dried it by slapping with the dry part, as if anyone dries their face in such a fashion. But a barber rarely treats you with gentle care. Next, he poked aftershave into the cut with the towel, then dusted the wound with powdered starch, then soaked it with aftershave again. He would have continued this endless cycle of soaking and powdering, no doubt, had I not protested and begged him to stop. He then powdered my entire face, straightened me up, and began to thoughtfully knead my hair. He then suggested a shampoo, claiming my hair desperately needed it. I countered that I had thoroughly shampooed it myself just yesterday. Another small victory. He then recommended Elixir of Hair Radiance, offering to sell me a bottle. I declined. He praised a new cologne, Gentleman's Bliss, and proposed selling me some. I declined again. He then presented a homemade, ghastly tooth polish, and when I declined, offered to trade knives. He returned to business after the failure of this last endeavor, sprinkled me head to toe, greased my hair despite my protests, vigorously rubbed a good deal of it from the roots, and then combed and brushed the rest, parting it at the back, plastering that eternal inverted arch onto my forehead. Then, while combing my sparse eyebrows and coating them with pomade, he launched into a lengthy account of his small terrier's exploits until I heard the noon whistles, realizing I was 5 minutes late for my train. He then snatched away the towel, lightly brushed it over my face, passed his comb through my eyebrows one last time, and cheerfully sang out, "Next!" This barber collapsed and died of a stroke 2 hours later. I'm waiting an extra day for my revenge. I plan to attend his funeral.